Like when you read a book upside down, isn't it?
Yeah,
Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're live again. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hopefully our faces will stay where they should be. So that's good.
Yeah, we've had a few internet issues this morning, but hopefully we're okay.
The joy of working from home and doing everything online. So what are we talking about today, Bertie?
But today we're talking about keeping it real. So as a business owner, being true to your values and all that kind of stuff. I know this is something you speak about quite passionately, Debbie.
Yeah, I think for me, it's this idea of part of it's like, how do you define your version of success? And sort of really digging into that. And also, oh, good morning, Helen, she's watching. And also not getting carried away with this idea of I've got to earn 6 and 7 figures. I've got to be doing this stuff. How much money am I making? And kind of always judging your success against other people, which we don't even know is true or not. There's a lot of hype out there, isn't there? So it's like, yeah, keeping it real, being grounded in what's actually true for you, and defining your own version of success. I think that's really important when you're running a business. Yeah,
it is. And there's been, I think as entrepreneurs, business coaches, all that sort of, in these circles that we're in, like, you just get bombarded, don't you, with social media feeds and advertising, like earn 6 figures here and 7 figures, almost like it's become the norm. And you've got like these 12-year-old kids on there saying, oh, I've just earned 6 figures this weekend. And it almost normalizes it. And you start to think, well, hold on, I'm 40. I don't know, 40 something. Why aren't I earning 6 figures over the weekend? It's like it's crazy, and you almost start to compare what it is. And I think once you, I think there's a couple of things. One, you've almost got to just say, well, a lot of the time it's just bullshit, right? It's just rubbish. But even even on the edge cases, even those people that are making that sort of money, like, they haven't just built that out of nowhere. Like, it's been hard work over a period of time. And the people that are the most successful, unless they're entrepreneurs, which is a whole different story altogether, it's taken a lot of hard work to get there. And it doesn't just happen overnight. And I think when you look at the people that probably aspire to be like, you think, like, I really want to be like that person, but they've probably been at it for years and years and years. And you can't just replicate what somebody's done at this very moment and expect that same success. So, yeah, there's so much to delve into on this subject.
Yeah, I think that's really true, because obviously there's a lot of comparison, especially because of social media. We now have like kind of a bird's eye view into people's lives and what they're doing and the cars that they drive and the holidays that they go on, and you can end up judging your version of your life against other people's. And like you said, you don't know the journey that they've gone on, how long they've been building their business. I think it's really damaging to your self-esteem to judge yourself on those things, because you just don't know. And I think a lot of it is hype, like you said. I did a talk in a conference in London last year, and I pulled up the stats for like the Institute of Fiscal Studies, and hardly anybody in the UK earns over 120 grand a year. And the stats say that most of them are men and live in London. So all this stuff that we're constantly seeing on social media about all these people earning 6 and 7 figures, if you actually go and look at the reality of tax returns in the UK, it's not there. It doesn't show up. So it makes me think, is it even true? And is that part of the smoke and mirrors of a marketing tactic? Of course, if I say, oh my God, I'm earning 7 figures, come and work with me and you can earn 7 figures too, that's super enticing for somebody starting out in business. They'll be like, right, I'm going to give you 10 grand. I'm going to give you 50 grand. Give me the secrets. But the thing is, your business always goes back to the basics. What's your product? Do people want it? Who's your customers? Do they know who you are? Do you add value? That's the core of a good business. And I don't really think that anybody can then take your business and suddenly get you earning 7 figures. And I think we need to maybe learn how to not judge our success on our bank balance, because it's always going to be changing, and you're always going to be wanting more and more money, because as soon as you get to one bit, you're like, oh, well, life hasn't really changed. I'm earning X amount now, but I'm still in the same house. Maybe I can buy more expensive shoes. So then you want more money, and you're constantly chasing this kind of ideal that's not there. Like, wouldn't the world be a better place if we judged our version of success on friendships that we make, or how we add value to people's lives, or, you know, the difference that we make in the world around us, rather than our bank balance? It seems really empty.
It's happiness, isn't it? I mean, that's
Yeah.
ultimately what you're striving for.
Yeah.
But I think you get these false pictures painted, and you're always comparing. Like, I always say this: like, you're comparing what someone's projecting on the outside to what you're feeling on the inside. So it's not even a like comparison. If you're having a bad day and then you're scrolling through social media and you're seeing all these dickheads in front of private jets when they've probably just climbed over the fence just to take a picture. I mean, that's been a thing, right? There's been like airports have been saying, stop climbing over our fences and taking pictures of this. It's the same jet and it's the same people. You know, there's all those things. But yeah, you end up comparing it. And I think a lot of the time you do naturally think, because it's there's a picture there, it's our brains are trained. Like, if we see it, we believe it. You know, it's that, you know, you have to see it to believe it. So when you're actually seeing that photo, I think your first instinct is, oh, actually that's true. Whereas then you actually have to take a step back and think, actually, that doesn't add up. So yeah, I think there's a lot about, which was the subject of today's live, actually just keeping it real. And I think you've got to decide what sort of business you want to be, right, and what sort of person you want to be. So, you know, for me, I like to keep it authentic, and I only talk about the things that I genuinely believe in. When I talk about building a business, I talk about revenue being really far down on one of the KPIs, and revenue is always the result of everything else you're doing. Well, 99.9% of the time. Like, there's always, you can always increase your prices and things like that, of course, you know, which is directly revenue. But what I'm talking about is if you get all the other stuff right, then the revenue comes. If you're true to the things that you're doing, then the revenue will happen. If you start focusing on the revenue, you can start making some really bad decisions for your business. And, like, you know, we've seen it in this industry, especially in the last couple of months. There's been loads of stuff that's been across social media with, you know, different business coaches and stuff. I'm not going to start naming names and things, and it's true. And it's when you start to focus on revenue, these things can happen. You lose focus on your customers, you start thinking about the wrong things, and everything else just collapses. And it's short term. It's a short term win that doesn't align with your long term goals.
Yeah, I think, and like you said, have those long term goals. Think about what the values are of your business. I think, if, like you said, if you make all your business decisions based on 90% of Facebook posts are bollocks. I think if you really need to, like, what are my values? Why did I start my business in the first place? What am I here to do? Like, what's the difference that I want to make in the world? Focus on those things. The more you can focus on that, I think the more your business will build, the more that you'll get in front of the right people, the more that you'll do that great work. And of course, if you end up earning 6 and 7 figures, that's amazing. That's amazing. But those people are the outliers. They're not the norm. And I think that there's so much pressure that we believe in the entrepreneurial world they're the norms, and we're the outliers if we're earning, you know, if you're earning a comfortable kind of 50 to 70K, you're earning more than most people in the UK. I think the average wage is like 26K or something. And most small independent businesses are around the 19K mark. So then if you're on 19K and you're looking at all these adverts on Facebook that like earn 7 figures, you're going to feel like a failure. And that's a terrible place to be as a business. You know, if you're paying your bills, if you're going on a holiday a couple of times a year, you know, if you're managing to put food on the table, you know, if you can buy clothes, then actually that's success, isn't it? You're bringing in enough money to sustain yourself. And I think we need to really focus on what we want, and not worry about what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and if you're successful and you're doing the things that you like and the money's coming in, then there's nothing wrong with it either. And that's actually another subject which we will be talking about next week.
Oh, tell us, Bertie, what are we going to be talking about next week?
Next week we are actually going to be talking about money. So, money, because I think it stems on really nicely from this subject, and we are coming up to time now, because there's this thing that don't be doing things for money, but just as equally, if you're doing something really well and you've got that following, you're adding value to people's lives and you're being true, then actually there has to be, someone explained this to me recently and it made perfect sense, there's got to be an exchange, right? There's always a fair exchange. And if you're providing value, then there has to be an exchange for that at some point. So you shouldn't be feeling guilty about actually taking money if you're adding value. Like when I work with people, if people are coming to me with a startup idea, for example, then generally they'll come at the stage where I could be saving them thousands on working with a developer when they're not quite ready for that yet. So there's a fair exchange there for the information. So that there's lots of ways to look at this. So next week, money. Are you up for it? We're going to talk about money.
I'm up for it. And I'm currently doing a course at Yale University all about the science of happiness. So I'll bring some of the science in about money and happiness, and let's explode some money happiness myths. Looking forward to it, Bertie. All right. Thank you for watching. Listening.
Yes, thank you everybody for joining us this morning. So we've had quite a few comments. That's great. Put a few up on the screen. Oh, we've got another one there. So yes, thank you. That was 10 at 10. We'll be back next Friday, 10 o'clock for 10 minutes or 11 minutes and 16 seconds, depending on how long we're on.
Talking about the money. Bye.
Thank you very much. Never do, Dar.
Thank you.
Ding, 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 ding. Bye.